Good afternoon, everybody. This is Stephen and Paul from WinExtra, bringing you your daily brief of Microsoft news for January 28th, 2011. We're coming up to the end of January, heading into the short month of February. And soon, please, soon, some spring weather. I want spring. I've had enough of this winter already. I've had enough. I'm done.
Number 84, Hudson, only 16 away from the century.
Yeah, that's true too. Wow. 100 episodes. What will we do for that? Same as usual.
We're going to shave your mustache.
No, we're not. No. Anyway, obviously the big news...
I'm going to get a haircut.
Yeah. Obviously the big news is out of yesterday, really, is the earnings call.
The earnings call.
Yeah. Of course, we got the good and the bad as a result of that, and as usual.
Okay, let's be honest. Microsoft did well. Microsoft beat expectations. So, all those people who were writing naysayer posts prior to the earnings call,
take it.
Just so wrong.
But
although earnings didn't come where we expected them to come.
No.
Entertainment division earned a whole lot more, whereas it looked like over this time last year, Windows sales are down, but
that's to be expected.
That's to be expected because they launched a new operating system and it took off like wildfire, and now they're at the part where it's just going with OEMs, and everybody who was pushing out to buy it just then stayed and bought it.
And we're still in the lead into the Service Pack 1 release, which is typically when the corporate market picks up.
Exactly.
But as per usual, Business Insider was quick to point out the big negative, which obviously is the online portion of Microsoft's earnings, where they apparently, I guess they burned $543 million.
And?
I'm just stating the news.
You see, what I don't get about this is that we know Microsoft's online division loses money. There's no two ways about it. Just like for years, YouTube lost money.
Yeah. And nobody really complained about that, did they?
No, because they could see the benefit to the rest of the company.
Yes.
They could see the traffic that it was generating and the brand awareness that it is generating. And Bing, now, in that respect, is making inroads. The search market is going up. 20%. Many people are actually saying that Bing is a better search engine than Google. People are starting to change to it. I don't quite know about that. Google is still personally my default.
I use Bing.
You and your Microsoft underpants. But Microsoft said a long time ago that this is something they're going to keep throwing money at until it gets there. They'd be stupid at this point to pull out of it. They're making more than enough money to keep this going at this kind of a loss rate. Obviously, they're making more than enough money, again, to beat expectations. And, again, nobody complained that Google was losing money off it, off YouTube. It's much the same thing.
Like you've got, what is it, from TechCrunch, you've got the entertainment device division exceeded all expectations. They've sold, 8 million Kinects in 60 days. The Xbox 360 console units up 21%. Year-to-date operating income exceeds $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, the entertainment division is good. Actually, that's, as I've been listening to this morning, has been spurring a lot of conversation. Paul Dvorak on Windows Weekly believes that Microsoft should basically spin off the entertainment division as another company, and then just go completely corporate. The other side of it then is that you had people like Scott Johnson and everybody on This Week in Tech. No, not This Week in Tech. Tech News Today. Stating that, this is obviously Microsoft. Microsoft is proving that they are beyond competent in this field, at the moment, and maybe they should create an even larger focus on that area. I don't know exactly which way we should go on this. And then you have posts from people like Mini Microsoft who are, on one hand suggesting that when a leadership change comes, or if it comes, that we may see Microsoft spun off into individual companies because there's really nobody to replace Bammer. Or then again, we could see a complete consolidation under Synopsky.
Yeah.
But... And I know I'm jumping all over our sort of roadmap of stories today, but this is just where my mind is going. And then you have TechCrunch, which you wrote about yesterday, who come around and say Microsoft, at this point, should be spending more money. They should be buying more companies. They should be making acquisitions. And I'm kind of like, more acquisitions? Really? This is what Microsoft really needs internally, is more staff who don't have a clue what's going on?
Mini Microsoft made the same point. Like, well, this is not something they should be doing right now. They should be cleaning their house. They should be, making sure that their house is in order and people are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yahoo, no. Amazon are acquiring staff. Okay? Google are
Amazon,
and hiring. Microsoft right now needs to, and I honestly believe this, Microsoft needs to look at its internal structure.
Yep.
And it's not going to be nice for the people that are laid off.
No.
But they need to lay a lot of people off.
They need to clean up that.
Especially in the management area. And then what they need to do is make it, they need to incentivize the employees that they have, especially developers. They need to incentivize them to stay, because obviously the stock options aren't exactly thrilling. Even with beating expectations, the stock didn't soar as it should have.
Well, as one commenter on Mini Microsoft's post said, Microsoft is cutting back on the benefits package, especially the healthcare part of it, and people are going, what's the point in staying now? You're not giving us anything to love the company about.
Yeah, Microsoft needs to be incentivizing people to stay, and they need to be more choosy about who they keep around. Turn it into an elitist thing.
Yes.
Only the best get to work here, and we pay the best the best.
Yes.
Because internally, and you know what? We've seen Bammer's bonus get cut for, non-performance in the mobile area. Do that too with the managers further down, but not because of performance, right? Cut people who are demonstrably involved in infighting, who are demonstrably involved in allocating resources away from other projects because it interferes with
their product. Yeah.
There's a lot of infighting. There's a lot of mini fiefdoms or kingdoms or whatever you want to call them internally at Microsoft.
And one of the areas where we're seeing this, coming out in public, which it should never ever do, is in the upcoming Mix conference, where we're going to see Silverlight and HTML5 groups.
You see, we don't know whether or not they're going to have a spat, so-called. But one can't really do it without addressing the other. So it'll be very interesting when these things are, when they are doing these presentations to listen to the rhetoric. But if the rhetoric is, attacking, accusing, challenging in that respect, then you know what? Bammer's not doing his job.
No.
And he needs to step in and do something about it.
Now, one of the areas where we're still not getting any real numbers, obviously, is Windows Phone 7. It's still early. But when you've got... Now, here's an interesting point. I found this out this morning. Fred Wilson, who is a VC, very well known, Twitter, Google, the whole works.
If you don't read his blog, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And the blog is AVC.
Yeah, .com. He's looking at switching to to Windows Phone 7.
He's switching a microphone. No, that's you. You need the microphone.
Yeah. He's looking at switching to Windows Phone 7. But then you've got people like Dvorak, all right? Dvorak, who says...
Dvorak!
Yeah, Dvorak. Duh. Who says that Windows Phone 7 is dead in the water.
No, look, hang on now. I deliberately didn't say this to you pre-show, because I would have had nothing to talk about at this point. Right? First off, I am pissed at you for putting a Dvorak story in the show notes. A story that is prefaced by, I've never held one of these things. I've never even seen one of these things. And that further on down, he goes, Microsoft should switch to fucking Android or Linux. That story was written by Dvorak to achieve one thing and one thing only. Page views by annoying people like you. That's it. It holds no water, and I gave up reading it as soon as he said Microsoft should switch to using Android or Linux. And I'm like...
So did I.
So, you know what? Don't expect me to have an understanding of what else he said in the post, because I didn't read it. Because at that point, he proved, beyond a doubt, that he was talking out of his arse.
Yes. But now, here's an interesting... and I put this in the show notes as more of a data point, but it applies this because Digital Daily has a post that 90% of AT&T iPhone subs are still under contract. You know, like, that's a lot of people.
In line of Verizon opening pre-sales for the iPhone 4 to existing customers on February 3rd, I believe.
Yeah. Now, here's an interesting thing that I know it won't happen because we've got the carriers involved, we've got the handset makers involved. But if Microsoft had the balls to stand up to these people, what they should do at this point is offer a deal for iPhone users to switch to Windows Phone 7.
Well, what kind of a deal would you propose?
I don't know. Hang on a second. It's in the bedroom.
There's something in the bedroom. Awesome.
I'll have to cut that out.
You don't have to cut it out. These things happen in your life. Whatever it is, it's interesting and it's in the bedroom.
Yeah, it's our phone. It's in somewhere. It's gone to hell. But no, I don't know what kind of deal they could offer, because they've got to deal with the carriers, and they've got to deal with the handset makers. But this is an open ticket for them.
Subsidize.
Yeah, do something. But get the Windows Phone 7 brand name out there at this point.
There's a possibility there. The other thing too is that, look, there's reports going on that AT&T is expecting to lose 2 million customers to Verizon over this. But people are only going to move as and when their contracts run out. Now, Verizon is providing a means for existing AT&T customers to actually bring their phones, and they will deal with the move over and the cost. So basically, it won't cost you anything to move to Verizon. But then again, there are, while AT&T coverage is probably it's out there, but you can't make a phone call on the bloody thing. Verizon has the alternate problem, which is that you can't surf the web while you're online, or while you're on a call, which makes things different. But there is an opportunity for Microsoft to come in here and to subsidize and whatnot. But the only problem is, in the time frame that's available to make this happen, Microsoft couldn't put the pieces in place.
No, they don't move fast enough. That's one problem I will say about Microsoft. They are not nimble enough for this kind of war.
Well, you know why they're not nimble enough? Because there's too much management, too much happening at a center level, too much organizing that needs to go on. And look, you can go right back to the very, very first shows that we used to do together prior to us doing Daily Brief, when we used to do the WinExtra on Windows weekend podcast once a week. And, we spent, an hour or more discussing all this stuff a number of times, and how Microsoft needs an internal reorg. Yeah. That's what they need above all else. Yeah. And that's what's got to happen.
Just two quick notes here. IE9 is going to be unveiled February 10th.
Is that the official now, or is that another RC?
Well, that's when they're going to be holding an event. Members
are going to be holding an event. Okay, yeah. So we can assume it's going to be the official.
As Ed Bott has written, Microsoft just sent out invitations to an event in San Francisco on February 10th, which says IE in San Francisco. 210.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be the official launch. Yeah. So, and also for you Windows Phone 7 developers, check your payments, check your bank statements. Apparently, a lot of you have already received your first payments for your work. Long awaited, but they have arrived.
And on that note, do a quick bit of business. We are now also distributing the Daily Brief show through Blip TV, which you can find.
So you can find us at dailybrief.blip.tv. If you're listening to us on iTunes, of course, you can find us by searching for WinExtra or WinExtra's Daily Brief on iTunes. And, of course, we're always available on YouTube at youtube.com/WinExtra. Find us anywhere you want because we're out there.
And on that note, folks, this is Stephen, and that's Paul. This has been Daily Brief for January 28th, 2011. Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend, folks. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye-bye.